there are 2-3 problems, right, that everybody is trying to solve in supply chain. Number one is that whole chain I talked about is completely offline today, and there is no visibility into anything. And I'll give you a simple example. I, during COVID, ordered a desk from IKEA.
Right.
And you don't know where it is once you order it. There is no real-time location. Then sometimes you don't know what is the ETA. And it's changed now, of course, even just in the last 2 years. But 80% of industrial goods that move today still don't have visibility. You order it, and so first is just that lack of visibility. That's the problem that needs to be solved. The other is there is so many handoffs, right, between all these parties, and there is paperwork, payments. Majority of that is done through WhatsApp, emails, Excel files, phone calls. It's archaic. It's very manual. And then things break in between, there are errors, right? So there is a cost to not having a unified kind of platform. And then the third problem is when looking for a logistics provider, they naturally do a contract, but sometimes if the contracted logistics provider can't give that capacity, they have to go find someone in the market. And that logistics provider, they're sitting around a table and calling everyone. All that is again completely manual and not efficient. It's a classic demand and supply needs is again offline today. So if you're looking to move something and if you want to discover capacity, who can carry the goods, it's not easy today. You have to call some 5 people to find out who will take it and all that, right? So visibility, no one platform to digitize, automate, like all the stuff. There are like 100 different IT systems, manual stuff, WhatsApp. And the third is how supply demand meets. Now, if you look at these 3 problems, we tried to solve the demand supply problem first. And then what we realized was, in a complex supply chain like India, where it's not about finding just a truck, but you have to find a specific type of truck because there are like 200 truck types and stuff in the country. So then we had to figure out that you can't really solve the supply demand problem unless you had a large network and visibility into both supply and demand. So what Freight Tiger does today is it addresses all those 3 problems. The only difference is we started with supply demand first and we had to kind of stop that. Then we solve the visibility problem. And what it means today is any manufacturing company, when they want visibility into their end-to-end supply chain, from the time they're getting an order and shipping something till it gets delivered, Freight Tiger provides that visibility. And then we do all the integrations, coordinations of different parties. Everything is orchestrated by us. And it's quite messy because there are like 8 to 10 people involved in making one transaction work. And some information is coming from an ERP, some information is coming from some app. So we kind of literally play a role of a orchestra conductor to weave all that together. And then customers have one common system where I get all end-to-end visibility. And if you think about before and after, if you were, let's say, a company like Dalmia Cement before, and to give you a sense of scale, a large cement company will do like lakhs of orders per month. And their cost of logistics is 20% of their sales for most cement companies, very high cost. If company like Freight Tiger wasn't in the picture, all these orders that are getting processed and getting delivered, before you didn't know where they were as a customer, as a company. Your customers didn't know either when I'm going to receive the material. So that basic visibility is the first thing that Freight Tiger does. So that's one. Once we started with visibility, customers, they started telling us there's a lot of other stuff now we do manually as well. Planning for those deliveries or proof of delivery or when the freight gets delivered, you create a freight invoice. All that was broken on different platforms. So we almost have a simple transportation management software, a TMS system, and that automates all the different steps that happen in a freight transaction. So that's the second part of Freight Tiger. And what the visibility and the transportation software allowed us to build was a massive network, because when you give the software, they're bringing their entire ecosystem onto the platform. And then what happens is you sort of become almost like a center of everything that is happening in the freight operations. And as we had enough people on the platform, then we allowed people to discover demand and capacity as a marketplace. But we stay neutral. And one of the unique things we do is these logistics service providers that work with shippers, we have no conflict with them, we partner with them. So one of the design choices we had was, often people think that only way to build value is to just disintermediate someone, right? Just remove everyone. And we actually decided to partner with people in that process, because there is enough efficiency for us to make money, for them to make money. So the third part of Freight Tiger is this marketplace where we allow demand and supply to match. And it is more possible to do that today because we do one and two, which is the visibility and the TMS. So that's what we do today. And what's next that is going to come is all of this we've talked about so far is operational stuff, paperwork, visibility, handoffs between different people and all that. But even the payments is broken quite a bit. So the next step of Freight Tiger is to automate the payments that happen between these parties for that freight transaction.